Lord God, Almighty Father, creator of mankind and author of peace, are we ever mindful of the cost paid for liberty? Today, we give thanks to our veterans for their services. We ask to bless the members of our armed forces, give them courage, hope, and strength. May they know your firm support, gentle love, and compassionate healing. Be their power and protector, leading from darkness to light. To you be all glory, honor, and praise now and forever. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of constituting the accuracy of written minutes. Tapes are reused, eliminating recorded records of these proceedings. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held November 3rd, 2022.
Motion approved. Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Are there any guests concerning county business at this time? Hearing none, we'll move on.
Proclamation. Proclamation number 2022-019. Recognizing November as Epilepsy Awareness Month.
Move to approve. Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
And I will read the proclamation at this time. Whereas epilepsy is a neurological condition, sometimes referred to as a seizure disorder and characterizing by recurring seizures, and 1 in 26 people will develop epilepsy in their lifetime. Whereas more than 209,000 Pennsylvanians live with epilepsy or seizure disorders. Whereas up to 50,000 Americans die each year from seizures and related causes, including sudden unexplained death in epilepsy. Whereas the Epilepsy Foundation, Eastern Pennsylvania, leads the fight to stop seizures, find a cure, and overcome the challenges created by epilepsy. Whereas the Epilepsy Foundation, Eastern Pennsylvania, is dedicated to ensuring that all people with seizures and epilepsy are able to participate in all life's experience. Whereas state funding in Pennsylvania currently supports Epilepsy Foundation program that provides technical assistance, training, and support to Pennsylvania school nurses, teachers, students on seizure recognition and first aid. Whereas state funding in Pennsylvania currently supports Epilepsy Foundation programs that provide patient education, public awareness, information, referral services for children and their families living with seizures in Pennsylvania. Whereas the Epilepsy Foundation, Eastern Pennsylvania, celebrates 50 years of service and dedication to Pennsylvania communities. Whereas prevention and control of epilepsy can be achieved through continued community education and awareness programs. Whereas the Commonwealth has historically supported the creation and expansion of epilepsy support services and awareness programs through federal and state appropriations. Whereas the epilepsy community recognizes November as Epilepsy Awareness Month to promote epilepsy awareness and education throughout the world. There is, be it resolved, the Commissioners of Carbon County resolve November 2022 as Epilepsy Awareness Month in Carbon County to promote epilepsy awareness and education throughout the county, adopted by the Carbon County Commissioners this day of November 2022. The Carbon County Commissioners, Wayne Notstein, Rocky Arner, and Chris Lukasevich. And we do have two people, if you would like to come up here. I have Karen Ziegenfuss, and I also have, is it Ellen Baca?
Yeah.
Do I have that right?
Yeah.
And you're going to give us a little bit on why you're here today.
Hello, Mr. Notstein and fellow council members. My name is Karen Ziegenfuss, and my daughter Lauren Lesko and I and my husband, Paul Ziegenfuss, and our two sons, Alex and Nicholas, are residents of Carbon County. On behalf of the Epilepsy Foundation, Eastern Pennsylvania, I would like to thank you for recognizing November as Epilepsy Awareness Month. It is estimated that more than 650 people in Carbon County alone are currently living with an epilepsy diagnosis. My daughter, Lauren, is one of them. Lauren was diagnosed with epilepsy when she was 8 years old. She was attending school at St. Peter and Paul in Lehigh and came home. It was a snow day and she had a grand mal seizure. My husband picked her up, threw her in his truck and raced to Lehigh Hospital with her, not knowing what was going on. It was the scariest experience for him. Since then, she's had multiple seizures, sometimes, well, over several years, 30 seizures a day. It was, it was a huge impact to our family. The school had to learn how to, take care of her while she was there. She then proceeded to Lehigh High School, and the school nurse, God bless her heart, took so good care of Lauren when she was there, and everybody made sure she was safe. So I really appreciate that. Lauren couldn't be here today, but she's doing okay. She still has seizures, and she's 26 years old now, and she's been living with this for like almost 18 years. As members of the community, it is very meaningful to us that Carbon County is publicly recognizing epilepsy. There is a lack of awareness and understanding about epilepsy, and this proclamation today is a step towards our goal of bringing epilepsy out of the shadows and erasing the stigma so that people who have seizures don't feel ashamed or afraid to talk about it. I truly appreciate your time and thank you so much.
No, I'm just the Lehigh Valley, the resource coordinator for the Epilepsy Foundation. And I wanted to know people in the community that we are a resource for them, support groups and webinars and retreats. And so people can feel like they're not alone with their diagnosis.
No, and that's good. And I just have something when, this is 50 years ago when I was in school. The prevention of this has come a long way. We had one of our students, one of my fellow students, I think we might have been about 15 years old. And when they got, when they had the seizure, the procedure was just to take a clothespin and clip their tongue so they wouldn't, suffocate on their tongue. And it's come a long way. This is something great that you're following through with this and educating everybody. It's going to save lives. We were lucky we had one student in the school at that time, and he's still living yet today. But it's like I said, you have to have that awareness out there because not everybody's at the right spot at the right time. And everybody has to be trained on it.
Back in the day,
Yeah.
we would put something in their mouth or do something, and that's not recommended at all.
No, and ours happened at gym class, and the gym teacher, he had a clothespin always with him because he knew the kid had seizures. And he always had it with him, and when he fell down, he went right over, opened his mouth and clipped his tongue. Was that the right way? Probably not.
So if you see somebody in the community having a seizure, you're going to turn them on their side, push in their head, don't hold them down and never put anything in their mouth. So, but back in the day,
Yeah,
that's
okay,
what
so
it is,
it's
but
come a long
not-
way.
yeah.
And we'll give.
Certainly in order for us to bring this to the public and make an awareness and to hear your personal story is what's really gets cements a job to the public, and this is a great opportunity for us to help you get this story out.
I wonder if you could just talk a little bit. Grand malls are important. They're very easy to spot. Talk about petite malls.
There's lots of
Yeah.
seizures that people think it's something else.
Yeah.
Think that they're on drugs, or maybe there's a mental illness. And they could be just wandering around the community, not responding to your calls. And if a police officer approaches them, they ask them questions, they're not going to respond. They might. So there's a lot of seizures that are like that, and they're misunderstood. Yeah, and the petty mall seizures we see in young ones, first, second grade, it's just like a light switch going on and off. You're talking and then stare off for a second, then you're back where you are. So there's dozens of different types of seizures. So I would encourage people who want to know more about it, go to our website, efepa.org, Epilepsy Foundation, Eastern Pennsylvania.
Well, do you want to go on the truck with them?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to go, yeah.
You guys.
We have
Boy,
two.
girl.
two
Boy, girl.
I have hers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
guys.
It was
Thank
really
you.
meaningful. We're really
Thanks,
grateful.
Thank
so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for watching.
Next item is a resolution for adoption. Resolution number 2022-031, declaring Carbon County a Hidden Heroes County in support of military and veterans caregivers.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes,
Whereas the series of wars and conflicts in which our nation has been engaged over time since World War II has resulted in 5.5 million military and veteran caregivers who are parents, spouses, siblings, and friends, caring for those wounded, ill, or injured who have served our nation, as documented by the 2014 RAND study commissioned by the Elizabeth Dole Foundation. And whereas the daily tasks of these military and veterans caregivers can include bathing, feeding, dressing, and caring for the grievous injuries of wounded warriors, administering medications, providing emotional support, caring for the family and the home, and working outside the home to earn essential income. And whereas the nation provides multifaceted support to our wounded, ill, and injured veterans and service members through public, private, and philanthropic resources, but their caregivers receive little support or acknowledgement. And whereas most military and veteran caregivers consider the challenging work they do as simply carrying out their civic and patriotic duty without realizing they are in fact caregivers and do not identify themselves as such. And whereas an alarming number of military and veteran caregivers, according to research, are suffering numerous debilitating mental, physical, and emotional effects as a result of their caregiving duties. Whereas the County of Carbon desires to recognize and support those who are serving in these vital roles in our own community. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the County of Carbon, one, that the County of Carbon become a Hidden Heroes County in support of military and veteran caregivers. That the County of Carbon seek to identify military and veteran caregivers residing in our community and determine the unique challenges they face. That the County of Carbon work to ensure that our government, organizations, employers, and nonprofits are aware of the unique challenges of military and veterans caregivers and are encouraged to create supportive environments and opportunities for assistance. That the County of Carbon plan an annual observance or resource fair to recognize the communities and veterans, military and veterans caregivers, in partnership with the Elizabeth Dole Foundation's National Hidden Heroes campaign and connect them with local resources. That the County of Carbon encourage all who care for and support veterans and service members to extend that support to their caregivers. That the County of Carbon designate a point of contact for our community from the public or private sector for citizens and organizations wanting to offer support and caregivers who need that support. That the County of Carbon use the Elizabeth Dole Foundation's military caregiver experience map to understand the stages of military caregiver journey and to use it as a tool to encourage community understanding and support. duly adopted at a regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the County of Carbon this 10th day of November, 2022, signed the Carbon County Board of Commissioners, attested Chief Clerk, County Administrator. And we have Georgette joining us from Hidden Heroes. Would love to have your comments, Georgette.
Thank you. And I do have just a little bit of. First, commissioners, I would like to thank you for inviting me here today to share my experiences. My name is Georgette Winton, and I am a 2021 Dole Caregiver Fellow with the Elizabeth Dole Foundation. I care for my husband, Jason, who is an Army veteran who served during Desert Shield, Desert Storm. His most visible wounds are his below-the-knee amputations, but he also suffers from 2 types of arthritis, major depressive disorder, and PTSD. As Jason's caregiver, I often forget about how much I actually do for him because I do so many things and I do them so often. Part of what I do to maintain his quality of life in our household is manage his doctor's appointments, his medications. I do help him bathe. I do help him dress, and I also take care of all of the household chores. I'm the one climbing on the ladder, cleaning out the gutters in the fall. I'm the one who is doing our laundry, making sure our house remains clean. I recently had a fellow military caregiver spend some time with me, and her observations of my life were eye-opening to me, and I would like to share those with you now. Besides an injured veteran, you see a hidden hero. Caregivers may be a spouse, a child, a mother, a father, a friend. Many stop to say thank you to a veteran for their service. Rarely does anyone say thank you to the caregiver beside them. I have been blessed to see 2 opposite reactions to caregivers in the last month. Yesterday, as we walked in a Veterans Day parade, there were so many salutes and thank yous to my well-deserving veteran friend. He more than deserves it. What I'm sharing with you here is in no way meant to take credit from him. He would tell you the same and shares this message as well. However, I didn't witness one thank you to the caregiver beside him. What those well-meaning patriots didn't see was everything his caregiver did to get him there or home, or what she does 24/7 to give him the best quality of life possible. She gave up herself for him, and she does it proudly. During our week with the Elizabeth Dole Foundation in Washington, D.C., caregivers were honored. We stood while over 1,000 guests clapped for us, and it was the first time I have ever been recognized, apart from the veteran I serve. The truth is that you don't see the perfect example of my dear friend Georgette. Before she reached 40, she quit her job, and she gave up her identity to care for Jason. Now, as she battles her own cancer, she never misses a beat to care for him. I had the incredible honor to spend the weekend with them after she just had chemo. Not once did she complain about her own pain. I watched her serve him first, before herself, and then use the little energy she had left to organize and walk in a parade to hand out flyers to help other caregivers find support. Caregivers are on the home front, on the battlefield that comes home to us. We serve life appointments. Our lifelong battle never ends. Many of us quit our jobs and lose our identities. We spend every moment 24/7 putting our veterans' physical and emotional health before our own. We lose control of making choices for our lives. We wear the uniform they took off. We perform our duties with honor, strength, and courage, with love. It takes everything in us. We don't ask for medals. We don't get financially compensated. We simply ask for the support we need to take care of our hero, and yet we are invisible. Thank you, Carbon County, for taking a stand and recognizing the hidden heroes in your community by signing the resolution today. The Hidden Hero Cities and Counties is a grassroots movement to engage with leaders at the local level to raise awareness about the issues military caregivers face and to bring critical resources to our nation's hidden heroes. Oftentimes, the local level really is the best place to push for resources and for change for caregivers. We see that engagement with local leaders really does move the needle when it comes to things like respite opportunities and other resources. On behalf of all the hidden heroes, I am grateful to Carbon County for recognizing us today.
Georgette, before we present the resolution to you, would you mind, you and I were in DC at the same time just a
Correct.
couple of weeks ago at the gala. And if I recall, the chair of the Hidden Heroes campaign asked you a question. What did he ask you? Who was he? And how did you respond to his inquiry?
So the chair of the Hidden Heroes campaign is Tom Hanks. He came out and he asked me about how I first heard about the Elizabeth Dole Foundation. And my answer responded partly with my inability to identify as a caregiver at the time. When you struggle to identify, you don't seek out the resources that are available to you. So it was 2017 or 2018, and my husband and I were watching the Today Show. That was unusual because we don't normally keep morning television on in our house. And there was a teaser for a segment that said, join Tom Hanks and hear military caregiver stories. And so I listened. And even though I did not identify at the time, that moment, just hearing about it was still instrumental in getting me to the point where I am today, to say I am Jason's caregiver and to seek out the opportunities for help for myself, but also to push me to where I'm strong enough to be able to sit here today and speak for those who are not strong enough yet.
Well, thank you, and I certainly agree that it starts here at the local level, and something we really need to educate as well, not only epilepsy, but so many things like this that the Hidden Heroes, and how many of people in this room have even heard of it before. So it's a very quiet support group, not seeking recognition or anything, but do a fantastic job and providing those services at great strain and stress to the individual providing those services. We thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cameras then.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we're ready for the next.
Next item, we have a presentation regarding the Muck Chunk Lake fish population assessment. We have Mr. Darrell Pierce, Area Fisheries Manager for the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission.
Morning.
Morning, folks. So that's the Area 5 regional manager. So I'm responsible for the upper Pennsylvania from the Lehigh River up, all lakes, stream, and the Delaware River as well. I was just asked to give a brief update on the status, how Muck Chunk's looking. And in short, it's fantastic. I'm really pleased. We went out this past spring, did a survey of the fish and added it to the time series that we have. And the fish population was really impressive. I'm really pleased, particularly with the yellow perch, and the bass are doing well. We have this quick PowerPoint to go through. If we can go to the next slide, please. Yeah, there we go. So we have two methodologies that we look to do a general analysis on a lake. The first is trap net gear, and this targets panfishes like bluegills, pumpkin seeds, and yellow perch and whatnot. And then it also targets walleye. It's just a big minnow trap is what it really is. And it just directs fish as they move in the spring into a holding pot. We go out, measure, and toss them back into the river. But it gives us an idea of abundance and sizes. So if we go to the next slide, please. So this is an overall reflection of the relative abundance of fishes in the lake. I have the panfishes there in different colors. So for instance, the big purple bar is yellow perch. Back in 1981, we did really well catching fish in that year. I still was in high school, but that year was a good year for yellow perch. The red bar there in 2016, that's a bluegill. That was a great catch. But the one thing I really like about this graph, it gives you an understanding of abundance among the different species. So obviously bluegill is doing a little bit better than say a pumpkin seed, but the stability is a great thing to understand off this graph. And we'll dissect this a little bit more as we move into the PowerPoint. So let's go to the next slide, please. So this is black crappie. So in the upper left corner, you see the blue bars, and through the years, there's some variation there. And that's just Mother Nature saying, hey, recruitment or the growth of the juveniles into the adult sizes is going to dictate a little bit on the abundance, right? This is a great year, we're going to have a lot of crappie, or this is a bad year, we're going to lose a lot of juveniles. But what I like about that upper blue bar graph is it's very consistent. Yeah, it's a little up and down, but for the most part through the years, we're doing well. And even more importantly, in the lower right, the squiggly lines, we're seeing the 9-inch black crappie are very consistent among the years. And that's something as a fisheries manager I like to see. So I can tell somebody to come to Mauchunk and be comfortable that an average experienced angler is going to have a pretty decent black crappie experience. And you're going to catch something around 9 inches. Now, of course, there's the dinner plates up there, the 13 to 15 size that are available, but you're going to have to know what you're doing to get to that kind of size to be able to catch. And then the regulations, we're under Commonwealth inland waters. It's a combined species, 50 for a daily peg limit, no minimum size. Let's move on to the next slide. So this is bluegill. These are the red bars. So 2016, we did well. And it's a little bit more variable in this. And who knows what happened in 1981 that it was such a low abundance there. But in recent years, between 2019 and 2022, we're still seeing that consistency among years. And again, if we look at the squiggly lines in the lower left, 2022 is in that light blue. And it's very consistent among the years, which makes me pleased. We're seeing about an 8-inch, 9-inch bluegill, 7-inch bluegill being very consistent among the years. And again, we could tell anglers that you're going to have a nice bluegill experience when you fish Mauchunk Lake. The other thing that's really fun is in 1981 or in the other years, we see that young are available in the lake and they are growing to size to provide that consistency at the larger size fish that people generally look for or target. Let's go to the next slide. So this is trap net catches for pumpkin seed. They're not as prevalent or as abundant in the lake as say bluegill or black crappie, but they are there. And again, it's the same story. They're very consistent. And on sizes down the lower left, again, we're seeing a nice size distribution right around the 8-9 inches, which is a great size for a pumpkin seed or a bluegill. A little bit smaller for black crappie. I like seeing black crappie a little bit bigger than that, but again, consistency, the lake is producing consistent size and abundance of fish, which is what I really like seeing in the lake. Let's move on. So walleye. Walleye is a highly desirable fish for anglers in Pennsylvania. For years, we've stocked Mauchunk Lake. In 2012, we terminated stocking for walleye. In the upper left is their abundance in the yellow or gold bars. Even our best year ever in 1981, the red bars that are horizontal there, those are our target goals for saying stocking is effective to produce a fishery. Even in our best year, we didn't achieve that. And then in recent years, 2016, since the 2012 cessation, walleye are still in the lake. And obviously they're not going to make that goal because we stopped stocking. But they're persisting for now. And I would expect over the years as we move forward, we're just going to age that population out of the lake. We're not going to come back and stock walleye. They just don't work. Even in when we're stocking millions of fry in the 80s, we still didn't achieve that goal. And it's really about water quality at this rate. So Mauchunk Lake is a very typical Pocono lake. It has a high tannic water acidity. And you can see that by the coloration. It's a light brown color. It's an oligotrophic lake. It doesn't have much production, so I'm meaning zooplankton or phytoplankton to support forage for walleye to eat. They're very demanding fish. They come from the Ohio Basin where all of that's available to them. And then what we did back in the 80s or the 70s is we're trying to introduce Ohio Basin fish into the Delaware Basin fish, and it's just not working. So that's just fact. And so the walleye that are in the lake right now, in the lower left on the squiggly lines, we see that vertical red bar. That's at the legal limit for walleye at 15 inches. If you're going to catch a walleye, I certainly encourage you to harvest it and enjoy the meal because they're all legal size. And eventually they'll just disappear from the lake. Next slide, please. So this is yellow perch, and this is interesting. Remember in the blue bars up there in the upper right, 1981, we had a really bunker year for yellow perch. And what's exciting about that is it's in the squiggly lines, yellow perch in 1981 is in the blue, and we see a lot of 3-inch and 5-inch or 6-inch fish. And that's highly encouraging to a fisheries manager because that's juveniles moving into the adult size. So when we caught those yellow perch in 81, it was the little tiny things. And so that we love that. I mean, people like seeing big fish and talking about catching all the big fish they get, but I'm all excited about the little things. And that's prevalent through all these graphs. We see a lot of recruitment to provide that stability of those populations through the years. And that's the best thing I could ever see in a lake. Now, since we had that big catch in 1981, that tends to downplay on the graph in 2019 and 2022. But flat out, I'm really excited. I think the best key feature that Mauch Chunk provides to anglers for the county is the yellow perch. It's phenomenal. Look at the size range for 2022 in that light blue bar, 11, 12, 13-inch yellow perch. Those are trophies. That is a meal and a half right there. And that's something to be very proud of. I mean, that lake is producing quality yellow perch. And that I can't say enough about that. That's just, I think if you're going to sell the lake, that species right there will sell the lake for you. Let's move on. So the other gear type that we use to assess a lake population is night boat electrofishing. We do it at night because we have better catchability. So bass or walleye, which is what we're targeting when we go out with this gear type versus panfish, they come into the shallows to feed. So we have an easier time to catch them. So I kind of stacked the deck a little in that regard. But this uses electrofishing and it induces immobilization into them. They come up to the surface. We net them, measure them, toss them back. Let's move on. So again, this is just an overview slide of relative abundance. I put this in here just so we can see, how one fish stacks up to the other. And again, we'll dissect this graph as we move forward. But the blue bars is yellow perch. And again, it's the same story. It's consistency. Although in 2001, we had a great year. And then smallmouth bass in red bars there. Certainly 1992, for whatever reason, we came up with a lot of smallmouth bass. But in the later years, in 2022, 2019, 2016, again, some variability, but I love the consistency there. Let's move to the next slide and look at it in a little more detail. So the blue bars, that's largemouth bass. And Mauch Chunk right now is under the big bass program. And so what that regulation is trying to offer anglers the experience to come out and catch trophy size bass. That's the intent of it. We're not quite meeting that. While we have a consistent population coming through here, in all those years that we've surveyed, only around 1.2 to just over 5% of our catch in our night boat electrofishing was only big bass, 15 inches or better, which is the vertical bar in the squiggly line graph. I'm not happy with that. It's a little concerning, but what I am happy with and what I truly love about the largemouth bass in this lake is look at the sizes. And so in 2022, we're right at the 12-inch, 13-inch bass. And large bass, to a lot of anglers, it's an individual preference. Some folk are very satisfied with a 12-inch bass. Other folk, since it's under the big bass regs, are looking for that large bass. But the consistency of a 12 or 13-inch bass, largemouth bass coming out of Mont Chunk, that's again, something to be really proud of. I like how that's happening because the lake has incredible use on it. I mean, there's a lot of people fishing that lake. And to be able to, through the years, keep all these fish populations coming through is fantastic. But I am concerned that we're not getting as many as I was hoping to above the 15-inch. So let's go to the next slide. And I'll address this a little bit more once we get to the stocking section. Next slide, please. Smallmouth bass, there we go. I threw this in here. Smallmouth bass is a small component of the big bass reg. So big bass reg looks at all bass together, spotted bass, smallmouth, and largemouth. We don't have spotted bass in Delaware drainage. They are not indigenous to the Delaware. But smallmouth, they're more of a riverine bass, so they don't do well in lakes as it is. But I wanted to just show this, you know, they're much less abundant in proportion to the largemouth bass. But they're not contributing to the big bass experience at all. And we catch so few of them in the recent years. I just don't even have squiggly lines to show you what the size classes are. But roughly they're under 12 inches or less. Let's go to the next slide, please. So coming back to the walleye, since we stopped stocking, obviously in the early years we caught some walleye with this gear type, but they're just aging out of the population. In the recent years, since 2012, when we terminated stocking, we're just not catching them anymore. So I don't even have sizes to show you from this gear type. But based on the trap that catches, again, if an angler is here, he catches a walleye and he wants it, it's legal at this point. I'd be more than happy to hear walleye stories that they harvested that fish. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, stocking. So I'm going to change gears a little bit, and this is going to be my thoughts on how we can address some of the big bass regs relative to the largemouth bass population. So let's move on. So what can we do to get more of the population? So when I go out with night blood electrofishing, I'm looking for the largemouth in my catches to be more than 5%. And I would be happy with that. 5 to 10% would be ecstatic if I can get there. In Mont Chunk, the habitat for bass is incredible. I mean, it's probably one of the best lakes I've seen for bass habitat in the Northeast. I mean, the South Bank is beautiful with all the rock and boulder that's in there. There's plenty of places to hold and rear and grow large bass. On the other shore, it's nice, shallow nesting areas and spawning areas. So I don't think habitat's a limiting influence on the bass population. The other thing I don't know is angler use. But in all those squiggly lines showing the link frequencies, there's absolutely no indication on any fish, whether it's bluegill, pumpkin seed, or bass, it would be by poaching, but there's no indication of cropping. So it doesn't seem to be that anglers are a limiting influence on the population. All right, so we're seeing consistent abundance and we're seeing consistent size distributions. Even though I don't know what the angler use and harvest is, I just don't think it's that much of an influence on the populations. So the third bullet, I think what we need to step or think about in moving forward is competition. And it's all about food. So we have a lake, we have a lot of bass in it, and they're doing well. But the question is, what are they eating and what's available? So Mont Chunk is a low productivity water, which means we have low zooplankton or phytoplankton, little microscopic animals. Golden shiners feed on those zooplankton and phytoplankton, and then in turn, the bass would feed on the golden shiners. Now, at this point, I believe the bass are certainly feeding on the bluegill, pumpkin seeds, and anything else that they can fit in their mouth, whether it's frogs, insects, and whatnot. But I'm wondering if all those 12 inchers and smaller size bass are just out competing each other, and then what happens is they stunt themselves in growth, and then they find themselves, you know, there's just not enough food for me to get any bigger. And so what I'd like to try and do, and I talked to the Park Commission this morning, what I'd like to try and do is start stocking golden shiners. These are forage fish that are common in northeast Pennsylvania. They know they're indigenous to this basin. They know how to feed on in low liquid trophic waters with low productivity. And that would offer an increased food resource and hopefully the largemouth bass can start targeting and then grow up more to size, not only larger, but hopefully faster. So what the other thing I don't know is how long does it take to get a bass to 12 inches in Mauchunk Lake? It may be up to 10 years. All right, but if I get more resource in there for them to eat, maybe I can shave some of that off and then they can blossom up and grow to size a lot faster. So I'm looking to stock the lake, roughly a little less than 100 per acre with golden shiners and to try and bolster that forage space. I'm going to do that from 2023 to 2025. I'll come back to Mauchunk Lake in 25 in the spring and summer and fall, and then do a reassessment and see where we're at. Let's go to the next slide, please. So this is just coming back to walleye. I threw this in there so people have the history, and I believe you all have the PowerPoint, so this can be distributed however you want. But this is the history of walleye stocking. So back in the early years, we're throwing in quite a few fry or fingerlings. And as the program grew through the years, our hatcheries just couldn't produce enough to support stocking on the broad scale that we were doing. In the recent years, we had to cut back. And we got to the point where walleye just weren't working in any of those years, regardless of how many we stocked. So the program is terminated. Let's go to the next slide. So this is a fun fact. I threw this in here. This is trout stocking. Mauchunk Creek, right below the lake, is a stock trout water. It's a high use water. It's very popular. Thank you very much. I love this water. Last time I was on it, I think I got 150 anglers within the first hour of opening day of trout. And these are the stockings that we put in. This is what will go in this spring. The Lehigh River is also a stocking for Carbon County. And again, thank you for that as well. I counted that this spring. I think off the top of my head, I forgot to put it in this PowerPoint, but up at Glen and Oco, I got around 40 anglers around 10 o'clock in the morning. And roughly, I think it was 30 down here off the parking lot in town, which is incredible. It's been growing through the years. People are starting to like a large river as a stock trout water to get a different experience. And the best thing that this provides for us is, hey, Mauchunk is really busy. If I don't want to stand shoulder to shoulder with folk, I just drive 3 miles down to downtown. I can fish to Lehigh and still have a fun time with it. Let's go to the next slide, please. And that's all I have for you, folks. If there are any questions, I'll try to do my best.
What the heck is electrofishing?
Well, this
Battery in there?
yeah, I'm getting a little nervous because it really gets me excited, and I'm wondering if that's just a masochistic side of me, but it's a boat and there's probes that stick off the front of the boat, and we have copper tubes that hang off those poles, and it is a big battery essentially. And what happens is the copper poles are the positive, and then the boat hull itself is the negative. And so we use a generator and we put out probably a little more than what you get out of the wall outlet here. And yeah, you don't want to touch the water. And what happens is when you put electricity through the water, I like to use the example back when I was in high school, we put electricity to a frog leg and you saw it jerk, right? But that's what electricity does. It induces tetany, which makes your muscles contract and expand involuntarily. You can't help it. That's what happens. And it causes the fish to enact, it's not swimming, but it looks like a swimming motion. And they'll come up to the positive or the copper droppers. We simply scoop them up, put them in the tub, measure them, throw them back. It's a stun effect. It's like a taser. They'll shake it off within seconds to a minute and then back in the water and away you go.
Another quick question. Did this replace Steinmite fishing?
Well, you know, I worked for the state of Florida for many years prior to coming to here. And I remember a fellow from Parks, he said they surveyed a lake and his biggest challenge was getting the fish out of the trees. Because there was too much primacord. Yes, this does substitute for dynamite a lot better.
Daryl, you know, our lake, Mock Chunk Lake Park and Mock Chunk Creek are under potential threat due to consideration by the borough of Jim Thorpe of loosening zoning in regards to really what ends up being permitting on-lot septic systems within 1,000 feet of Mock Chunk Lake Park and Mock Chunk Creek. Can you talk a little bit about, you know, what threat potentially on-lot septic systems pose to our waterways in Pennsylvania, specifically to Mock Chunk Lake Park, if you could?
Sure, I'll talk from a biological aspect. I'll stay away from regulation. That's not me, that's DEP. From a biological perspective, raw sewage is just bad. All right, and back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, the thing was you build your cabin, you put a straight pipe into the lake, and you really didn't see much of an effect, probably because that was the only cabin on that water. Now, as we get more and more urbanization, more agriculture, more everything, stressing our waterways and our lakes, we're going to get more runoff, more input of nutrients, right? I mean, raw sewage is nothing more than a very rich nutrient, and you're seeding the lake. We're putting in more nitrogen, more phosphorus, more carbon. And these are the basic elements that phytoplankton, zooplankton, bacteria need to grow. And when you spike a lake with that, it's just going to bloom. And in some regards, we're going to talk about a minor benefit that's far outweighed by the negativities. The small benefit is zooplankton, phytoplankton are going to bloom. Well, then the golden shiners in your forage are going to bloom, and then eventually your predators are going to bloom, right? So we can think of it that way, but that's going to be far outweighed by the negativity. So what's going to happen is we're going to have a bloom of phytoplankton, zooplankton, these bacteria, they're going to die much faster than you're going to get the benefit from the forage. When they die off, now the biological demand for oxygen to degrade all that material is going to strip oxygen out of the lake, and there's large potential that the lake can go hypoxic or anoxic, meaning there's nothing for the fish to breathe. And more importantly, then we're going to start introducing harmful algal blooms. And we're certainly introducing bacteria that's going to cause closures from a human health perspective. So one of the best benefits that Mont Chunk has right now is it's fully within the county park system. And urbanization and development around the park lake is helping protect the water from runoff, from direct sewage input and things like that. The more land that you can get around and in that drainage basin, the better you will be at protecting the lake from those kinds of conditions. Certainly as urbanization and agriculture continue to increase and develop throughout the East Coast, you're going to see algal blooms in the lake. There's nothing, it's going to happen. It's a thing, but I would urge you to do the best we can to keep the drainage basin as well protected as we can, so that Mont Chunk doesn't build up to the point where we're going to see harmful algal blooms.
Thanks, Daryl.
Very important.
Yep. I just have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
With the walleye not being there, will that help the other fish more populate, because aren't they more dominant than the others, or is that not correct?
No, that's a good observation. And yes, you are correct. With less top level predators, the forage is going to be less stressed. Now, the walleye haven't been there since 2012. And bass are still not being what I expect for a big bass regulation. So I'm targeting 5 to 10% of my catches being big bass size, 15 inches or greater, because I want to be able to tell an average experienced angler, hey, you can go there and have a good opportunity to catch a trophy size bass. I mean, that's what big bass is supposed to do. Now, getting there and be satisfied with a 12-inch bass, yeah, I'd be very satisfied with a 12-inch bass, and a lot of folk would be. But we're not seeing the response from the lack of walleye being in the lake upon the largemouth bass. Certainly, chain pickerel are benefiting, and they're doing well in the lake. which they're fun to catch as well. I don't personally care to eat them, but yes, I would expect less competition from that aspect. Yeah, yeah. But I think if we stock 4-H and do that for 3 years, let's wait it out, see what happens and see where we can go after that.
Thanks so much,
Thank you.
Daryl. Appreciate it. All right, thank you. We want to let the press, if they have any questions before Daryl heads out.
Question or? Good, good. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, feel free to contact me whenever. I'm on the internet or. I don't know if I put my contact in the.
We'll pass it to him, Daryl.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next item is the report of executive sessions held.
There was one executive session held on Tuesday, November 8th at 9 a.m. for personnel reasons.
Department reports, the budget transfers.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yeah.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. No?
Yes.
There are no supplemental appropriations. Expenditures, approval of payroll check number 74736 through 74753. And direct deposit check number 6047304 through 6047739. For the payroll paid through the payroll fund checking account, for all county funds totaling $646,409.47. This is the payroll dated November 4th, 2022.
Motion to ratify.
Second.
Mr. On.
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yeah.
Mr. Notstein.
Yes.
Approval of check numbers 232114 through 232-259 for expenditures to the general fund clearing account totaling $1,634,108.22.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. On.
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Mr. Notstein.
Yes.
The treasurer's report.
Move to accept.
Second.
Mr. Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yeah.
Mr. Notstein.
Yes.
Personnel report for county department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Mr. Notstein.
Yes.
Acknowledgements, reports, and roll officer.
Move to acknowledge.
Second.
Mr. Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Mr. Notstein.
Yes.
Correspondence was received as listed. Copies will be made available for press upon request. The administration buildings for approval and execution. Proposal from Weatherproofing Technologies Incorporated, WTI, of Beechwood, Ohio, to replace the roof and HVAC equipment at the administration building in the amount of $1,388,706.20 with a 20-year warranty on the roof. Project is quoted under the KPNAEPA contract number KPNA 202012-4.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Mr. Notstein.
Yes.
Advertising. Authorize the advertisement of the Carbon County Annual Salary Board meeting to be held and live streamed for Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023, convening at 2 p.m. immediately followed by a meeting of the Carbon County Board of Commissioners.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Mr. Notstein.
Yes.
Another advertisement authorized through the advertisement of the 2023 holidays as listed.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Mr. Notstein.
Yes.
Authorize the advertisement of the proposed ordinance to establish the obligations and authorities of the Carbon County tax collectors and the Carbon County Tax Claim Bureau to waive additional charges for real estate taxes upon taxpayers' strict compliance with all qualifying requirements of Pennsylvania Act 57 of 2022.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Mr. Notstein.
Yes.
Boards and authorities, reappointments. 4-year term to expire December 31st, 2026. Fred Bressline of New Heighton and Harold Budliner of Weatherly.
Motion approved.
Mr. Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Mr. Notstein.
Yes.
Children and youth for approval and execution fiscal year 2022-2023. Purchase of service agreements with Kids Peace Children's Hospital of Schnecksville and Kids Peace National Center of Snitchville as per the attached rates.
Motion to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Communications for approval and execution. Communication received from the 911 director requesting to extend the existing equipment maintenance contract terms and conditions with Radio Maintenance Incorporated of Reading, Pennsylvania for an additional 3 years expiring December 31, 2025, for a grand total of all 3 years, $234,000, which represents an increase of $12,000.
Motion to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Second amendment. For approval, the second amendment to the agreement with Two Way Mobile of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, to maintain and operate the Northeast NECOR phone system and EZNet services for the region. Maintenance includes hardware, software support, and on-site services at a total cost of $62,132.53. The term of the agreement is January 1, 2023 through December 31, 2003. This is approved under the statewide interconnectivity grant. CoStar's number 12-018 is an increase of $5,120.36.
Motion to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yep.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
The coroner for approval and execution. Agreement between the County of Carbon and Health Network Laboratories doing business as Forensic Pathology Associates of Allentown, Pennsylvania, to provide services for the coroner's office for the term of January 1, 2023 through December 31st, 2023 at the rates as listed.
Motion to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Courts, Odyssey System for approval and execution. An amendment to the agreement with Tyler Technologies of Plano, Texas, to replace the court software from Anita to Odyssey Case Management System. This amendment provides 2 additional users at an annual fee of $8,880. Changes to the payment milestone billing in the amount of $122,080 due to ongoing conversion, thereby extending the go-live date to March 2023, as well as changing allotted text messaging limits from 10,000 to 25,000 annually.
Motion to approve and execute.
second,
Discussion.
Yeah.
The county has already committed over 800,000 of American Rescue Plan funds into this. The courts, the prothonotary, the register of wills has no skin in the game. They didn't initially commit any financial resources from funds, nor from their budget or from their automation funds that they had. About 2 to 3 weeks ago, sent out a request again to them to help cover some of the financial costs of this unfortunate extension, really, which is well over 6 months of this contract. One row officer replied, basically saying no. The courts and register of wills did not reply at all. I find it unimaginable that on their unwillingness to support financially a program that is designed and in agreement with the courts in these 2 offices to bring greater effectiveness and efficiency. They have initially been a part of the conversations that led to the approval of this contract. And it is my position that they should be willing, and not simply willing, but should be compelled to contribute financially to the delay and the additional costs associated with this delay, as there is probably blame on both sides from the contractor and the county participants in this. So I don't support at this time expending the additional funds without an appropriate contribution from these offices.
Is it appropriate to table this for 1 week if we can resolve it?
I'm up to that. I think,
Okay.
Rocky, They need to at least make an offer to contribute. They didn't do it when I first asked, when we initially did the contract. Went back to them, they have automation funds, they have revenue resources, right? And they can even raise revenue or resources. And again, they're just not putting any skin in the game. And we know that when you don't put skin in the game, you tend to be less conscientious or concerned about how resources are expended.
No, is the motion then to table? You think 1 week is appropriate or?
Yeah, I think it should be 20 minutes after this meeting. They should
Okay,
be emailing us
okay,
and saying,
Right,
hey, this is
I
what-
make the motion to table till next
Oh.
week.
I'll second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yeah.
Mr. Notstein?
No, simply because I think it's more of an internal problem that we have to work out with other elected officials in court, so.
They haven't been receptive to
Yeah,
working
understood.
anything out, except saying no, you know.
Understood. Okay,
Okay, next item. District Court for approval and execution. The lease agreement with Pitney Bowes for Ascend Pro C Series version 4 mail processing system for the Palmerton District Court. Term will be 60 months commencing January 1, 2023 and terminating January 1, 2028. Billed quarterly at a cost of $400.95 per quarter. The proposal is in accordance with PA State Contract number 4400015965. This is an increase of $203.19.
Move to approve the next.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yeah,
Emergency Management for approval and execution, the 2022 State Homeland Security Grant Program Agreement between the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, and the Northeast Pennsylvania Regional Counterterrorism Task Force. The term of the agreement is September 1, 2022 through August 29, 2025. The award amount is $898,918. The Northeast Pennsylvania Regional Counterterrorism Task Force is comprised of the counties of Carbon, Lackawanna, Lehigh, Luzerne, Monroe, Northampton, Pike, Susquehanna, Wyoming, and Wayne.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Solicitor's report?
Thank you. Under Agency on Aging, seeking approval and execution of an amendment to the existing agreement with Prestige Home Healthcare LLC of East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, provide personal care and home support services at a rate of $20.28 per hour for the term July 1, 2022 through June 30th of 2024. This represents an increase of 60 cents per hour.
Move to approve the next.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
For the 525 Iron Street project, seeking acceptance of a proposal from United Inspection Services of Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania for construction testing services for the 525 Iron Street project. The proposal lists a not to exceed amount of $17,108 and was the lowest of 3 proposals that were received. Boyle Construction Management has received all the proposals and recommends the construction testing services contract be awarded to United Inspection Services.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
For Parks and Recreation, seeking approval and execution of a banner request from the Bach and Handel Chorale for their Christmas concerts, St. Joseph's Catholic Church on December 3rd of 2022 at 2 p.m. The banner to be displayed from November 19th, 2022 until December 4th, 2022.
Motion approved and executed.
second,
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
And seeking approval and execution of a special activities agreement for the use of Josiah White Park, along with a banner request and gazebo use request submitted by the Jim Thorpe Tourism Agency for the Christmas tree lighting on December 2nd, 2022. The banner to be displayed from November 17th until December 4th, 2022.
Motion approved and executed.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Nothing further.
Any further business? Commissioners reports, Mr. Honor?
None at this time.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Done at this time.
Mr. Notstein?
being adjourned. Okay, are we ready for election board? Okay. Now call the monthly meeting of the election board to order.
First item is the approval of the minutes of the election board meeting held October 13th, 2022.
Motion approved.
Second.
Your Honor. Mr. Lukasevich.
Yeah.
Mr. Notstein.
Yes. Are there any guests concerning election board business this time? Hearing none, move on.
Any further business?
You okay? You got that look up there a little bit. Any further business, none? Meeting adjourned. Excuse me, Amy, I know you have a question here. That's all you look.
I thought Lisa was here.
He was in the hall before the meeting.
Yeah, state, city of the man, yeah.
That was my confusion look.
Yeah.
In regards to what you spoke about, Commissioner, what is the Odyssey program that you guys have gone to?
It's a system bringing together the court systems, records, files, filing systems, all together under Tyler Technology. We currently have our own proprietary system, but we're going to Tyler Technologies, and the courts organized a contract to automate the process and create better connectivity between the courts and the two offices.
It's more of a, we had proprietary records, and
Yeah.
only one person doing that work, our program.
Mhm.
And we went to a company that has several counties and several states, etc. So it's part of the unified justice system to integrate all the agencies, our departments involved, as Chris had mentioned earlier. That's what it's.
Okay, and then just to clarify, make sure I have it right. So you guys put in $887,000 through funding, and the court doesn't want to chip in for this.
Well, there's a necessary extension of the contract, which of course is significantly more money, and I think we worked really hard to reduce that number down.
I worked with the company.
Yeah, and again, there were, issues on both sides. However, my position is, the courts the row offices have automation funds, and that's to, incorporate advanced technologies to create effectiveness and efficiencies in their operations. And they should be utilizing portions of those funds for this program, because that's specifically what it's designed for. And up to this date, they have provided no funding whatsoever to support a program which is for their benefit. Yeah, that's all.
And the only other thing I have is the epilepsy awareness month. We have a copy of that. Documentation.
No.
That's all.
Any photoplankton questions or anything? That was good.
Courts, depository, register of wills.
Yeah. That was it.
And the total cost on that was.
Well, now it's gonna be it would end up being
Just about a million.
just about a million. Yeah.
It's updating a lot of the problem is integrating the other system
Yeah.
into the new, so it's a lot of technical work.
Yeah.
A lot of work on behalf of those offices as
A lot of
well,
hours.
transferring that information from the old system
Yeah.
into the new system. It just doesn't copy into it. And I mean, so there are a lot of issues, Heritage or not the Heritage, I'm trying to think of all the programs and the company hasn't, I don't know, it's difficult to integrate it.
Things like probate one of them?
Probate.
Probate was one of the challenges getting in. Yeah. Again, it's just an old system with a new system, trying to integrate them and bring all that information over to meet the court's requirements. It's challenging, no
We're
question.
going through the same thing with the a recorder of deeds office as well. That was what, $400,000 just to upgrade everything and to get everything on the electronic files and et cetera.
And I think that's gonna be a 5-year project.
Yeah.
Bring all those deeds.
So implementation alone was approximately $605,000. And this is going to take it up to $726,920. But understand then there's additional fees.
The annual
after
fee
that.
and all the annual fees. That's
We have Tyler in other offices as well, in the communication center and other places. Big company.
Yeah.
Expensive company. Anything else?
The HVAC and roof stuff, any idea when that's gonna happen?
Okay, I'll give you a report and I'll give you a little bit of information on that. First of all, I'll start off that it's 1.3 million, almost 1.4 million. I think what we've been doing the last couple of weeks, we're starting to cut back a little bit. This building was actually probably gonna be projected to be $3 million. What we made it, I mean, it was gonna be the facade, the windows, and we have to start just making our priorities what it is. We need the roof to not leak, and we need the air conditioning to work and the heat. And that's two basic things that I think you need. You need a roof over your head and heat. The other things are just gonna have to come years down the road, what we're gonna do. It's projected to probably be done by summer. They're gonna start right as soon as the weather breaks. And there's some things like they have to go to PennDOT, they have to bring cranes in to close the roads, but we're hoping by June it should be done.
The big thing here as well is the fact that the air conditioning system is old and put a new roof on and then wait to do the air conditioning. Now we're tearing up the new roof to accommodate the new air conditioning. So it's more long-term, cost-effective before the system fails. We're replacing the roof, do it all at one time, get it over.
And it's very inefficient, our system here now. Just for example, my room, you could store meat, one of the butchers here, we could store meat in my room.
Bring it out.
And like the woman that's next to me, her office, they actually close my door so that the air doesn't come around to her to make her room cold. Like, it's just weird. It's just like nothing operates correctly here. It's like the heat goes on, it goes too high, and then the air conditioning comes on. We're probably wasting so much money that, I mean, it sounds like it's $1.3 million, but we could wind up saving $150,000 just on our annual bills.
Overtime.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Okay. Good. Lot of things to do today.
Yeah.